Disclaimer, there's an irrelevant and inaccurate joke about Ebola in this video. Viewer discretion is advised. New York strip steak is a common cut of beef for consumption that comes from the back muscles in the loin, or more specifically, the short loin. I bought my steak at a local Publix in Gainesville, Florida, in the meat department. The New York strip steak was presented intact in a sanitary environment, had no visible enhancements or signs of contamination. It seemed to be packaged at Publix and was kept at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. I kept my steak at 35 degrees Fahrenheit in my refrigerator for about an hour. I bought 2 New York strip steaks, 25.92 ounces in total, for $15.86, with other simple ingredients that you can find at your house, which will cost about $4, which will bring your total cost up to about $20. In this video, I will be preparing only one serving, so your cost per serving for this dish will be about $10. With the steak, we will be preparing something from classic French cuisine, a Bordelaise sauce, which will use red wine, chicken stock, and half an onion. Salt and pepper will be added to the Bordelaise sauce to taste and rubbed on the steak. I chose this recipe because it is delicious. Oh, and before you begin, make sure to wash your hands. We don't want contamination occurring. The equipment that we use has already been washed. Remember, we will only be using one of our steaks, so you can put the other steak aside. Here, we were trimming off all of the fat from our strip steak. Don't worry, the lean meat on our fat trimmings will not be wasted. Do not throw away your trimmings. Put these in your refrigerator. For now, let's work on our lean steak. Do not be afraid to season your steak heavily. Rub all of that salt and pepper in. Don't worry, it's all good flavor. Wash your hands again with soap. We don't want Ebola. Let all that salt and pepper in your steak marinate. But now, let's get out our fat trimmings and work on that. Salvage all the lean meat that you can from the fat. We will be using this to make our Bordelaise sauce. Of course, it's okay if some fat gets into the lean meat, because fat is where the flavor comes from. Now these are your fat trimmings, your actual fat trimmings, which is all fat. You can throw these away or use them later for another dish. Now, let's ground our lean beef. Because our cutting board and knife touch raw meat, we're gonna wash this with soap so that we don't have cross-contamination. Don't forget to wash your hands also. We don't want Ebola. Now let's work on your onion. Cut your onion in half. Peel your onion. And dice it up, baby. Make sure to dice it up evenly. We don't want burnt onions. Again, wash your hands. We don't want cross-contamination. In a sauce pot, I have reduced red wine, onions, and our lean ground beef for an hour. Don't forget to add salt and pepper to taste. I haven't shown it to you here because I'm assuming you know how to season your sauce. Now add unsalted chicken stock to your sauce. Make sure to taste for salt and pepper afterwards again. Now skim off all the foam on top of your sauce and scoop out all the lean ground beef, onions, and little bits in your sauce. I don't have a strainer, so I'm using a spoon instead. In a skillet, put some olive oil and heat that to high heat so we sear the steak, not boil the steak. If you put too much oil in your skillet like I did, just pour it out. Now it's time for the fun part. We're going for rare. That way, tenderness is preserved in our steak. I seared the steak on each side for 5 minutes. I'm going for an internal temperature for at least 140 degrees Fahrenheit so that the steak is safe to eat. Here we see the temperature is rising to 140 degrees. Bam! The steak is safe to eat. Let your steak rest for 10 minutes before you cut it. I've cut the steak into pieces and poured our beautiful Bordelaise sauce on top of it. Doesn't that look delicious? Nom nom nom. Yummy! There was no leftover steak, so there is no worry for storage. Put the rest of the uncooked steak in the freezer, and the other half of the onion, the rest of the chicken stock, and the rest of the red wine in the refrigerator. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it.